Okay, guys, this is day 5, probably the most important day of this challenge because it's all about compliance, making this work long term, how to implement this long term, and also just the mindset around how to turn this into something you do long term. And I'm not just saying about like fasting, I'm saying about actually implementing a training and nutrition strategy that you can actually do all year. Because if you can implement something during Christmas, which kind of everything goes out the window, you can do it at any point in your life. And I always say to clients, like, when things are busy and things are like inconsistent, that's the best time to actually implement a healthy strategy, because then you can do it at all points in your life. And that's just a super powerful thing to think about. And the topics we're going to be covering today is how to avoid the pause button mentality, how to set your weekly floor, how to scale habits for you, and also how to use self-compassion as a way of keeping you compliant and consistent over the long term. So the pause button mentality is the biggest trap I see people fall into when it comes to fitness. And this is basically just stopping when things aren't ideal. Okay, so let's just say you train for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, life happens, you get stressed, you get injured, your kid gets injured, the weather gets dark, the clocks go back, whatever. So you say, right, I'm going to wait till that kind of subsides, and then I'm going to start again when things are easier to start again. And you stop, and then you realize, oh, I'm back to square one now, so I better get started again. And you're really frustrated. So what you do is you push yourself even harder. So then you go super intensely. Now you tweak your shoulder, your lower back. You need to take time off again, and back down. You stop completely. You start again. You never really get anywhere. The example I like to use, it's like you put money into the stock market, and every 3 months you take all that money back out. Okay. You put it back in, take it back out. You never get the compounding returns of the stock market. Everyone says you need to just put the money in and keep adding to it, and don't think about it. And in 15, 20, 30 years, you're going to be in a great position. And it's the same with your health. Consistently showing up and practicing these habits each week are like giving your little deposits for the long-term return that you want. If you stop completely every 3 months, you never get the compounding benefits of training, of nutritional habits as well. And just something to remember, every single year, unless you're an outlier of humanity, you're going to get sick. You're going to get stressed. You're most likely going to get injured. Your motivation is going to dip. The weather is probably going to get bad, and you're probably going to have relationship challenges. So knowing that this is going to happen every single year, it makes sense to understand, like, well, what's the plan when these things inevitably crop up, right? Instead of just stopping completely, maybe we should have an actual plan, understanding that, well, this has all happened every single year over the last decade or over my whole life. So maybe when I do get sick, this is what I'm going to do. When I do get stressed, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. And this is super powerful, because then instead of going from, 100% to 0, we can just scale things down or back up depending on what's going on with your life, but continue the habit of actually showing up each week. And that might be, scaling it way down. I'll explain how to adjust the dial a little bit later. But just remember this, like, it's so obvious, but a lot of people still fall into the trap of pausing or waiting until life gets normal to actually continue on. Okay. So the way to actually do this is actually set your weekly floor. So for your workouts, and we're just going to talk about fasting, but you can say this for nutrition as well. So when you get sick, when, everything goes wrong, or what I like to say to clients is, when you have your hell week, what can you still show up and do that week? So for you, Christmas might be really stressful or difficult or whatever. So instead of saying, oh, I'm just going to not do anything for all of December and maybe some of November and maybe some of January, I'm actually going to keep doing like 2 10-minute workouts a week. And some weeks I might do more, but like I'm going to maintain that, versus saying, well, I can't do my 3 60-minute sessions, so I'm going to do nothing. As in, I'm going to pause until I have time to do my 3 60-minute sessions again. Okay. And the reality is, with that mindset, you're going to train maximum half of the year, maximum, maybe less. Okay. So scale your workouts, set your floor. What's the minimum amount I can do all year for 52 weeks of the year, regardless of what's going on? I'm sick. My kids are sick. I feel terrible. I can probably still do 2 10-minute workouts beside my bed. Okay. Fasting, like the, week 1, we're doing 16/8. So this week is 16/8 and then 18/6 and then 20/4 and then 1 meal a day. You might say, okay, well, look, I'm going to at least do 2 days a week of the fasting protocols. So week 1, I'm going to go at least 2 days of 16/8. Week 2, I'm going to do 2 days of 18/6. Week 3 of the 20/4. I'm going to try that for 2 days a week. Or you might just say, look, I'm going to do at least 2 days of 16/8 for the whole month, to make it really, really easy. Some of you guys just mightn't be able to do the 24 or the 1 meal a day, which is totally fine. Okay, so set your floor, super important. Next is scaling your habits. So imagine your ability to show up is like a temperature dial that goes from 1 to 10. On the 10 is like you're training every day, you're doing 20,000 steps a day or 15,000 steps a day, and you're working out for an hour a day. Okay, most people are never going to be at a 10 consistently or ever. Most people are kind of between the 6 and the 8 out of 10 when life is going really well. Okay, but the problem is when life isn't going well, they go down to 0. What we want to do is scale it down. Even down to a 1 is totally fine. But the biggest thing is you're actually consistently doing your commitment. So like, again, your hell week or your floor might be kind of a 3 out of 10, or even like a 1 out of 10 if you're like really sick. Okay, but let's just say on average, the lowest you're going to go is like a 10-minute workout beside your bed, twice a week or something like that. But most of the time you're trying to do a 6 or a 7 out of 10. So you're getting in like 2 or 3 workouts a week and getting in walks as well. A 5 to a 7 out of 10. Okay, so it's the same. Scale your habits with your fasting as well. You mightn't do the fasting completely perfectly, but if you do it as best you can over the next month, that's better than doing it not at all. Okay, so just remember you can scale things up and down depending on how busy things are. Next thing is just managing expectations about how you should feel to work out. And the rule of 5 means, this is from Dan John, so he's a super OG in the fitness industry. And he says that like out of 5 workouts, 1 will feel good, 1 will feel awful, and 3 will feel neutral. So really only 20% of your workouts will feel good, and you just show up anyway. A lot of times we feel like, oh, I don't feel like training today, maybe I should skip it. That's actually normal. Most people don't feel like working out all the time. I love fitness. I love researching it and doing everything to do with fitness. I'm like literally 1 in 5 times I'm really, really excited to train, and the rest of the time it's just a habit that I do, like brushing my teeth. Okay. So just detach from how you feel emotionally and just show up and execute. Okay. And that's where like having it in your diary, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 o'clock, I train. I don't think about whether I should train or not. I just show up and train. Okay. Never miss twice is really helpful as well. So let's just say you said you're going to fast today and you didn't, or you break your fast. You're like, okay, well, I'm just going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to start again tomorrow. So I just felt very hungry, or just, the hunger got the better of me, or I just wanted to eat something. Don't do it the next time. Okay. And the same with like food as well. So let's just say not using the fasting, but just using nutrition in general. You're like, okay, I'm not going to have any sugar this week. And then, so that's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Thursday, you kind of crack. And then instead of saying you've ruined everything and you'll start again on Monday, you just start again on Friday. Or if you don't make the best decision on this meal, make a better decision on the next meal. Okay, so never miss twice. Really, really good thing, just to recover quickly. And the quicker that you recover, the better your results are going to be long term. Self-compassion is the last kind of thing we're going to talk about, guys. And this is where focusing on self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness is going to be super effective to allow you to forgive yourself when you inevitably mess up. Because the pattern I see with myself, with my clients, and with a lot of people out there, is that you say you're going to do something, then you don't follow through, or you fail. And then it's not the failure in the moment that hits you hard and causes the damage. It's all of the kind of collateral damage after that, meaning that, oh, okay, I'm going to do this fasting challenge. Now it's Friday, I've done nothing. Well, oh, screw it, I'm a failure. I'll start in January, even though it's like almost a month away. Okay, instead of just saying like, okay, I'm going to practice self-kindness, like I was talking to a friend. So, hey, you missed 4 days, just start now. It's not a big deal. And you can use this stuff at any point, and we're not even at Christmas yet. So just apply a bit of kindness to yourself. The second one is common humanity. So like common humanity basically means that there's millions of people feeling the same way as you're feeling right now. Okay. Like right now, people all over the world are feeling the way you're feeling. So don't feel like you're this isolated person who has messed up. Everyone goes through these emotions. Recover, and again, don't miss twice. Get back on the next meal, the next day, the next week. Just recover quickly. Okay. The final one is mindfulness. So mindfulness versus over identification means that if you over identify, you just kind of believe like, oh, I'm just, I can't fast, or I can't stick to a plan, or I never do what I say I'm going to do. Mindfulness means you got curious about it. Well, like, okay, maybe me saying that I'm going to follow the fasting challenge 100% perfectly, even though I've never fasted before, was a bit unrealistic. So maybe I'm going to try it again. I'm just going to restart. Instead of trying to do like one meal a day every day, I'm going to do the 16-8, or even maybe just a 12-12 or a 14-10. Okay. Make it a bit easier. And then once I can do that, I'm going to kind of do that for 2 days a week. And then I'm going to build it up over time. Okay. So mindfulness is just getting curious. Like, okay, instead of just thinking that you're just broken or, always do this thing, why does this thing keep happening? Am I making it too hard? Am I not getting enough support? Are my expectations too crazy? All of these things come from being more mindful versus over identifying and thinking that this is just the way it is. There's nothing you can do. Okay, so how to integrate stuff, just to review it all. So you want to plan your floor. Again, you're going to get sick. You're going to get stressed. Work's going to be crazy. You're going to have a birthday. Your partner, your friends, or your kids are going to have a birthday every year. There's going to be cake every year. Understanding that stuff, realize like, okay, what am I going to do when these things happen? Because they happen every year. Plan your hell week, plan your floor. Also plan your sessions and your fasts. So imagine if you played football or a sport, or you practiced a musical instrument or whatever, or even going to school or to work. It's not like a random time every day or every week. It's like Tuesday, Thursday, we're training at 7 p.m. for football. Okay, so put your workouts into your calendar the same way. Scale your habits based on what's going on. So again, you might 80% of the time, you might train 4 days a week, but during your hell week, you train twice a week. So you don't just stop or start, you continue on and you just scale things up and down. Also understanding that like 20% of the time you're actually going to feel like training, but you just show up anyway and you do your best. You don't miss twice, and you can make that work for you. So it might be the next meal, the next day, the next week. Okay. And then remember self-compassion. Okay. So how would you speak to a friend? Okay. Understand also that you're one of millions of people feeling this way. And then finally, get mindful or be more curious about what's going on. Stop just kind of giving in and over-identifying with the situation. Get curious about, okay, why does this pattern keep happening? This is where coaching is really powerful as well, because it's hard to be, super aware and mindful of our own patterns initially. And that's where coaching can be really helpful. Last thing is exercise is optional, but movement is essential. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. You don't have to do a training program, but you need to move as a human being. That's super powerful and important. Okay, so just to review everything, guys, obviously the 5 days this is day 5, but ideally this is, 5 days is not really going to do a huge amount. I'm giving you a 5-day challenge because I want to hit you with loads of information, give you tons of value. And then like a month is a long time to stay engaged with something. So this week you were doing 16-8, and that would be like a 12 noon to 8 p.m. Or you might do 10 a.m. to 6 or 2 to 10. Okay, make it work for your lifestyle. Week 2, we're doing 18-6. Week 3, we're doing 20/4. And then week 4, we're doing 1 meal a day. Okay. Again, you can scale this stuff. You might only do 2 days a week. You might only try the 1 meal a day once. You don't have to do it like every single day. Make it work for you. And then the Zero app is good. I use it. It's free. So that's a good way of tracking. But I mean, it's just some basic maths to track your fasts as well. And that is it. So yeah, I would love to hear your responses. If you want to just jump into the Facebook group and just let me know how you're finding everything. And if you have any questions as well, just let us know there.